Hello dear students, subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon. Question number 1. How is death perceived in the poem Full Fathom 5 Thy Father Lies? Explain. And the answer is death is meaningfully perceived here in this poem. This poem has presented meaningfulness of death of Ferdinand's father Alonso. His father's dead body is lying 30 feet below somewhere in the sea. The dead body hasn't been decayed and disappeared. It has been transformed into something strange and valuable. His dead body's bones and eyes have been changed into corals and pearls. His father's dead body has brought happiness for all the sea creatures. The presence of dead body has changed the environment of the sea. Sea nymphs also seem so happy to welcome his body to be the part of the sea. Every hour they play his funeral bell in ding-dong sound in his honor to inform him about his death. This poem suggests us the meaning that after death our body gets changed into different forms and keeps on serving for this beautiful planet. The process of serving is non-ultimate. Question number 2. How does Martin Luther King portray the appalling condition of Negro community? And the answer is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. portrays the appalling or horrifying condition of Negro community through his own experience. During that time, the condition of Negroes in America was so worse. The Constitution of America promised various things for the welfare of all the Negro communities, but those promises weren't fulfilled. Negroes were exploited and dominated in every sector in the name of apartheid or skin color discrimination. They were deprived from freedom, justice, as well as happiness. They were treated just as slaves as before. They didn't get any opportunity of education, earning money, enjoying, etc. as the whites. Black children were not allowed to read in the school where white children used to read. They were totally neglected by the whites. Being citizens of America, their fate remained under the dark cloud. They had to spend their miserable life. Question number 3. According to Nisani, what can be some possible ways to save the forests of third world countries? And the answer is the possible ways to save the forests of third world countries are as follows. Number 1. Different awareness activities should be regulated to save forests. Number 2. Controlling population growth. Number 3. Providing financial support to preserve the forests. Number 4. Necessity of planting trees at deforested areas. Number 5. Wood products should not be used for cooking. Instead of that, fuel should be used. Number 6. Use of smokeless stoves in every house. Question number 4. Why does Gretel dislike her father, brother, and the lawyer? And the answer is Gretel seems radical feminist here in this text. She dislikes her father, brother, and the lawyer for deceiving her. According to Gretel, there was an understanding between them to sell their story to the Grimm brothers. They had signed in a contract paper with an agreement to share 50-50 of the profit. But unexpectedly, her brother and father deceptively made her sign in a new contract by the help of their lawyer. Due to these deceptive acts of all these three people, Gretel got very less amount. By the help of their lawyer, Hansel changed everything of the story. Gretel found the story published the other day totally in a different order. Thus Gretel blames and dislikes all these male characters. Question number 5. What is the main idea of the poem Grandmother by Ray Young Beer? And the answer is this poem has been composed by an American Indian poet, Ray Young Beer. The poet is a member of Meskwaki tribe. In this poem, the poet has presented the picture of his all-loving and all-inspiring grandmother. He has presented the rustic lifestyle as well as the culture of his tribe by the help of his grandmother's portrait. By remembering his grandmother, he has tried his best to disclose the real existence of the Meskwaki tribe and its people. By presenting all these facts, he wants to show the principal theme of American Indians' search for their own identity. The poet has tried to disclose the lost lifestyle and culture of the Meskwaki tribe. Question number 6. How does Elohim define love? And the answer is Elohim defines love through his own experiences of different love affairs. He thinks that when people are in love, they think whether it is honorable or dishonorable, sensible or stupid, and what their love will lead to. For him, this reasoning is the main source of dissatisfaction and irritation. He thinks that love is a great mystery. It cannot be bound by marital status. The explanation of one's love cannot be applicable in others' love case. Whatever is stated or written about love up to now, that isn't the real solution, but only a statement of the question that is always unanswered. There is no universal definition of love. Love differs from situation to situation. Love should not be generalized but individualized. According to him, to what extent personal happiness counts in love is uncertain. It differs from person to person. Question number 7. Sketch the character of Luganovich briefly. And the answer is Dmitry Luganovich is an assistant president of the circuit court. His age is over 40. He has 2 children and a beautiful wife. He is living happily in his family with his wife, mother-in-law, and 2 children. He has a good relation with Elohim. He has invited Elohim to his house for dinner. He is a very helpful person who behaves quite friendly with others. He is a very kind-hearted person. He doesn't have any doubts about Elohim's and Anna's affair. Question number 8. Mention the 3 things that the old man laments about. Why is he sad about them? And the answer is the 3 things that the old man laments about are as follows. His old age. Here at this age he suffers a lot. His physical condition doesn't favor him. He is so upset at this age. Because of his old age and appearance, nobody wants to talk to him and no one takes care of him. His youth is. He feels sorry about its loss. He does not only lose his power but also his friends, love, and fine talk of love and politics in front of the fire. Time. He curses time which brings pain in his life. This time transfigures him into old. He becomes very upset to see this old life and wants to spit into the face of time. He is sad because all these things only bring unpleasant feelings in his life. His old age brings pain, youth age brings a sense of loss and present, and time brings all critical situations for him. Question number 9. What are the 2 long-term problems as stated in the essay? How these problems are connected? And the answer is, this essay is about ecology and change. The writer of this essay has presented the factual statistic of ecological change. The writer of this essay seems too worried about the future of the world. He has even presented the present ecological state of Nepal. In this essay, he has very beautifully related 2 long-term problems. According to him, the 2 long-term problems are there are too many people in the world and too few trees. This problem has created a lot of problems in the ecological system. He has presented the connection between these two problems, saying that when the population of the world increases, the needs of the people also increase. In such needs, people need more lands for their shelters as well as foodstuffs. When they get nothing to fulfill their needs, they target the forest for their livelihood. Question number 10. Describe the lifestyle of Karnali people. And the answer is the writers have learnt various things about the Karnali region and its people. They have got a chance to know about the lifestyle and culture of Karnali people. According to them, people of Karnali are innocent, laborious, and uneducated. They know very little about the outside world. They live in geographically very difficult part, completely depending on their own or animals' strength. They are ignorant about soil erosion and deforestation. They are very superstitious too. They make a very difficult journey to Nepalgans to avoid their bad star. They live in harmony with nature. Their lands don't produce sufficient food items to support them. Many people do trade for their living. They go to Nepalgans carrying medicinal herbs, hashish, hand-knitted sweaters, silajit and blankets. They sell these items in Nepalgans and earn money for their livelihood. They are not economically rich. Most of the people go to Nepalgans for jobs. They do their best trade to avoid the bad star. They are satisfied with their life. Question number 11. Do you agree with what narrator did? Why? And the answer is yes, I agree with what the narrator did because his emotional feelings for Fawn were right. But when he realized that he couldn't do anything for the little Fawn, he pushed the doe into the river. He realized the power of nature and also the inability of humans against nature. He didn't want to go against nature's power. He realized that man cannot do anything against nature's will. Question number 12. What is the central idea of the poem Traveling Through the Dark? And the answer is the central idea of this poem is that we must be rational. We must do what is important. We should not violate natural rules and laws for our own sake. Man cannot do anything against nature. Nature is so powerful. Life and death are two real aspects which are also related to nature. We must accept reality. Question number 13. How does the boy describe his uncle and aunt? And the answer is, according to the boy, his uncle is a big, fat and noisy person. He is so sociable and likes to go outing. He likes drinking with his friends. He has red hair. He mainly wears huge waistcoat which looks so dirty. He eats a lot and drops food particles on his waistcoat. His waistcoat stinks much. He has a small shop and a small wife. He only thinks about his pleasure. He mostly refuses his wife's command. He doesn't take his responsibilities seriously. He likes to spend time with his friends. The boy's aunt is small like a mouse and quiet like a cat. She is a good housewife. She mostly spends her time cleaning her small house. She does not like her husband's habit of going in an outing and drinking with his friends. She wants love from her husband rather than going outside. Whenever Thomas lifts her on the chair, she hits on his head with China dog. She often goes to her mother's house after discussing with her husband. Question number 14. What does the refrain of the boy, now they are going to see who I am mean? And the answer is the refrain of the boy, now they are going to see who I am means a resolution to show all the villagers about the real existence of the gossip. The boy was disbelieved and criticized by the villagers. When he was a boy, he saw an uncontrolled large ship without light and sound. It appeared in the darkness but disappeared in the light. The ship collided with the rock and sank in the sea. Next day he went to the sea but could not find any sign of the ship. Again, after a year, he saw the same ship. He told about it to his mother, but his mother thought him as crazy. She died before her son could prove about the ship. Similarly, he saw the same ship the third time and called the villagers to watch it. The villagers beat him because they could not see the ship. The boy promised to prove his manhood and complete his aim. He saw the same uncontrolled ship in March night. He guided the ship with his lantern to the village and showed it to the villagers. The vision of the ship was only his illusion of imagination, but later on he made it truth by his adult passion. Question number 15. What is the main theme of the poem God's Grandeur? And the answer is the main theme of this poem is to make all the people aware about the divinity of God. People of the present world are money minded and selfish. They forget about God's greatness and even about God's creation or nature. They go on destroying the beautiful nature for their own benefits without caring about God's punishment. God is everywhere and in everything, so we must realize God's strength and never try to violate the rules and laws of God's creation. Question number 16. What was the real dream of Martin Luther King about the future of America? And the answer is the real dream of Martin Luther King was about the bright future of America. He wanted to end the concept of apartheid. In many states of America, many black children were treated according to their skin color. They were not allowed to study in the schools where white children used to study. Black people were not allowed into buses, hotels, restaurants, etc., which were used by white people. So Martin Luther wanted freedom for all the black people from segregation concept. His dream was an equal opportunity for all the black people as whites. Even after the end of the slavery system, black people were treated as slaves. So he wanted freedom from slavery. His dream was a cheer of brotherhood between black and white people. His dream was a day of equal opportunity for all the blacks of America. Every black would get a chance to enjoy the rights given by the Constitution. They would get a good education, good jobs, and make money as whites. Question number 17. How did Pinkham act as a savior of her sex? Explain. And the answer is her sex is related to all the women of America. Lydia Pinkham had done a lot of activities for the welfare of the women of America. She was regarded as the savior of females. Her homemade product had benefited most of the women of America. She made her vegetable compound for the women's disease. As a social reformist, she also advised most of the women about their rights and health problems. She even gave more priority to women's business and helped women by encouraging them. She paved the easiest way for all the American women, especially in the matter of curing various diseases as well as solving their problems. Question number 18. How were the handicapped, black and weak children viewed in the past? And the answer is the handicapped, black and weak children were viewed in a biased manner in the past time. They were really in very bad condition in the orphanages. People didn't have any liking towards such children. They didn't want to adopt such children who were physically unfit, weak, or black. Such children were supposed to be damaged goods. The people who wanted to adopt the kids from orphanages only took interest in healthy white kids. The handicapped, black, as well as weak children were not even looked once by the people. So the condition of such children was so miserable in the past time. Question number 19. What kind of treatment does a woman in Bangladesh receive during her pregnancy and after childhood? And the answer is, in case of Bangladeshi woman, during her pregnancy periods, she goes to her parents' house for the last few months to deliver the baby and about the first 3 months of the baby's life. She gets love and care by her parents and relatives. She is looked after by her parents all the time. The whole matter of pregnancy is a kind of celebration. The birth of a child is an occasion of joy for the whole family. The naming ceremony is so well celebrated. Mother and infant get new dresses. There are feasting and singing until late at night. Everyone sings and dances. The mother and child get the blessings from the senior family members. The woman is warmly respected after having a child. Question number 20. What made the narrator confess his crime? And the answer is the narrator of the story was a patient of nervous disease. He chopped the innocent old man for a minor reason. He wanted to hide his crime. He hid all the pieces of the old man's body under the wooden floor. The policeman came there to inquire. The narrator took them to the spot where he had hidden the old man's body. While talking, the narrator heard the sound of watch coming from beneath. He thought it as the heartbeat of the old man. The sound grew louder each time. He tried his best to reduce the loudness of the sound. He spoke loudly with policemen, but the policemen smiled all the time during their talk. The narrator thought it as a mockery as well as his insult. That particular smile of policeman and the sound of the watch made the narrator confess his crime. Finally, he confessed his crime. Question number 21. Why did the old man punish the boy? And the answer is, here in this play we find criminal acts done by the old man. The old man seems so brutal. He killed his father at the age of 16. After that crime, he became a peddler. As many years passed by, he happened to reach the same place where he had done the murderous act. He related the story about his past to his son just in front of his burnt house. After that, they involved in the fight. The old man punished the boy because he found out some hints of revolt within him. He thought about the revolt against his father and became so fearful about the chain of violence which would be repeated by his son too. This very concept made him feel fearful and punished the boy. Question number 22. Why do the parents in the Hansel and Gretel decide to leave the children in the forest? And the answer is, the stepmother of Hansel and Gretel was so cruel and unkind woman. She didn't love them and wanted to get rid of them. She felt them as a burden. Once there was a famine in the region, so their father was unable to provide food to them. In that difficult situation, the stepmother made a plan to leave the kids in the dense forest so that she could live easily along with her husband. Question number 23. Describe the gingerbread house. And the answer is, the gingerbread house is a house of dream. The house can be reached walking on the biscuits through the garden of sugared fruits. The house is made of sweets. The door of the house is heart-shaped and red. It is shining like a ruby. The door is half opened. The garden is so sticky. The roof of the gingerbread house is made of chocolate. The place is sunny and beautiful. The air is fresh. There is a river of honey and lollipops grow like daisies. Question number 24. What was the major problem in the relationship between Doran and Paulie? And the answer is, both Doran and Paulie liked each other very much. They even had a special relationship. There was a rumor about their relationship in the boarding house. The major problem in the relationship was the family status of Paulie. According to Doran, Paulie's family status wasn't so good. Paulie was an uneducated drunkard's daughter, due to which Mr. Doran rejected her to marry. He did not want to face social criticism. He wanted to ignore Paulie for his social status.